Joined by Andhra Pradesh former Chief Minister and YSRCP Chief Jagan Mohan Reddy. Sir, thank you so much for speaking with us. Sir, it's going to be 1 year of completion of the Telugu Desam-led alliance government. What do you have to say?
In fact, today we had given a call to declaring that day of June 4th, the day when the results came out, as a betrayal day. Last 12 months of his regime, and none of the poll promises what were promised during the election campaign or his manifesto were fulfilled. And the Super 6 and the Super 7 have gone for a toss what they had campaigned aggressively that they would be fulfilling. And the plight of the farmers is an abysmal low, and no crop currently has the minimum support prices coming to it. The support which the farmers were earlier getting in terms of production-based subsidy, which he had said, in fact, in our regime we were giving 13,500. He said he'll give 26,000. It's proven to be a lie. And the free insurance policy, which was earlier prevalent during our regime, is now no longer in existence. And similarly, the Arogyashri, which was taking care of the health of 1.4 crore people, every month approximately 300 crores is what is required to run that scheme. It covers it used to cover in our regime 25 lakhs of treatment freely available to the needy, and that was entailing approximately 300 crores of expenditure every month. This government, for the past 12 months, 12 into 3,600 crores, not a single penny is given to Arogyashri. All the network hospitals have gone on a strike. Now they are not willing to treat the patients. The plight of the patients is that the morale of these patients is an abysmal low. Similarly, the fees reimbursement, which affects more than 11 lakh children who are doing their higher education. The fees reimbursement dues have been pending. In our regime, every quarter, the moment the quarter is over, the bills were cleared. Every quarter, Jan, Feb, March, April, there was a verification process, and May, the bills were cleared. But after this government came into existence, the system has gone for a toss. For the past 1 year plus 1 year, nothing has been cleared. 2,800 crores of fees reimbursement dues, entirety pending, and the boarding and lodging expenditure, which was Vasati Devana, another 1,100 crores. The entire 3,900 crores, only 700 crores was paid. Entire 3,200 crores remains pending. This year going forward, first quarter is already started, which is again due by 700 crores. So this year going forward, you require similar another 3,900 crores. Nothing is being budgeted for. So the entire education system has gone for a toss. The health system has gone for a toss. Agriculture has gone for a toss. And law and order, above all, is abused. Thanks to the Red Book constitutional that this man is trying to bring forth.
The YSRCP party and you have always, maintained that this Red Book Palana has had several people whose lives have been, destroyed. Several people against whom FIRs have been filed. YSRCP party workers, social media workers, innocent people whose lives have been destroyed. And you've also given stats and numbers for the same. Do you think there has been any kind of action, or is it a reaction of sorts for what the TDP-led government is doing? Is it a message they're trying to send?
In fact, for the past 1 year, in fact, I had just given the statistics in the just concluded press meet. clearly showcasing the number of arrests that have taken place, the number of attempt to murder cases that have been filed, the number of arrests, the number of murders that have taken place, the number of leaders that have been arrested, including social media activists. The worst off in the history of Andhra Pradesh, never something like this took place. The number of IAS and IPS officers who are being harassed. This is something new. Almost 199 officers today are on VR, vacancy reserve, not being given postings. You have senior IPS officers, DG category level officers arrested, persecuted, harassed. Senior IAS officers arrested, prosecuted. This is never the case in any other government before. Such is the harassment which is going on today, which, if it is not stopped, will take the state altogether to a barbaric era.
So talking about the recent developments, there's been a lot of reports that have come out saying that there's been a lot of liquor allegations done by the YSRCP. People allegedly close to the YSRCP and your circle as well have gone ahead and partaken in siphoning of money, fake GST invoice, not an SIT and an ED investigation that has also now took up. What do you have to say?
All these things cannot take place. In fact, Chandrababu Naidu is the person who's on bail. Currently, as we speak, Chandrababu Naidu is on bail concerning liquor cases. The case on Chandrababu Naidu is so watertight that in order to nullify that case, he is brought in this particular allegations on YSRCP's transparent policy so as to nullify the case which is on him. In fact, so much so that I'll give an example. See, in YSRCP's regimes, all the shops were government. So when government runs the shops, there is this element of profit which is removed from the equation. In fact, if you were to see what happened in YSRCP's regime, the entirety of the shops were run by government. Restricted timings were imposed. The taxes were increased. The bell shops were removed, which were in existence during Chandrababu's regime. The permit rooms which were in existence during Chandrababu's regime were also removed. All these factors, especially the taxes which were levied, have made sure that the liquor consumption fell. But the money to the government, that is money to the exchequer, increased because of the tax increase. So much so that for a case in YSRCP's regime, a revenue to the exchequer was 5,600 rupees per case, increased to 5,600 rupees. Whereas a revenue per case during TDP's regime was 2,600 rupees. See, that kind of increase of revenues to the government took place because of the increase in taxes. Not only that, it also reduced consumption of liquor. The volumes, if you were to see, during TDP's Chandrababu's 5 years regime versus 5 years regime of YSRCP's regime, you would be surprised to note that in TDP regime, from 2014 to 19, every year volumes kept increasing, which in turn benefited the distilleries because they were making more money because volumes kept increasing, because their profits increased. Whereas in YSRCP's regime, volumes kept coming down because we increased the taxes and because we removed the bell shops, because we removed the permit rooms, brought in restricted timings. ensure that liquor consumption comes down, which in turn would help the health of the people. All these measures added to, if you were to see the figures, the liquor consumption kept coming down. So when the liquor consumption comes down, why would anybody give any money to anybody? Contrary to what Chandrababu's regime, where liquor consumption went up. Another important thing, the entirety of the 20 distilleries which are in existence in Andhra Pradesh, out of these 20, 14 of them, Chandrababu Naidu was the person who gave them a license to commission these distilleries. And the balance 6 also did not come up during YSRCP's regime. It came up during various other governments' regimes in previous eras. So none of these 20 existing distilleries, not even a single distillery came up during YSRCP regime. Out of these 20, 14 came up thanks to Chandrababu Naidu in various regimes of his, and another 6 have come up during other regimes of other previous governments. And another important aspect is the entirety of the 20 distilleries. Who empaneled them? Entirety of the 20 distilleries supplying liquor, all of them have been empaneled by Chandrababu. Not a single distillery was additionally empaneled by us. So the fact is, they have been done favor by Chandrababu. Not a single favor has been done by us. In fact, their volumes have come down in our regime. So this is also one very important aspect. And also, another important aspect was, see, during Chandrababu's regime, all the shops were privatized. How were they privatized? They were literally given on a lottery basis to Chandrababu's sympathizers. None of them were permitted to participate. The MLAs, the ministers, the entirety of the TDP cadre bulldozed the entire lottery system to making sure that entirely they get these shops. The entire shops were run by private people in Chandrababu's regime. And because it was them, their mafia that was running the shops, they, in order to make more money, illegal permit rooms were put in place right in front of government's nose. Government was keeping quiet because it is they, part of the mafia. 43,000 bell shops have come up. Every village, right beside the temple, right beside the school, right beside the street. In total, 43,000 bell shops actually came up during TDP's regime. That is why the volumes kept increasing. And thanks to all these illegal shops and the private shops which are in existence, the MRP sold anywhere was 20 to 30 rupees more. And this was going straight into the hands of all these people, the mafia which collected the money and which was sharing the entire loot. It was just not that. In fact, because the entirety of the shops were private in nature and they were controlled by Chandrababu, Chandrababu was placing indents through these private shops to whomsoever distilleries he chose, because the indent was coming from these private shops, and through this indent money was being given by the government and buying liquor. To whomsoever distilleries whom Chandrababu wanted, the indent was being placed by these private shops controlled by Chandrababu Naidu, which in turn resulted in 5 distilleries alone supplying 69% of the liquor during Chandrababu's regime, which is also part of the case registered on him. Just not that. Chandrababu Naidu also waived off privilege fee, which was in existence since 2012, to benefit the private shops, which are his people, which costed the exchequer 1,300 crores per annum. which resulted in that period during Chandrababu's regime, almost 5,000 crores of loss to the exchequer, thanks to the waiver of this privilege fee, which was done by Chandrababu. 3 times he had signed with his own handwriting. 3 times he had signed. And it had no prior cabinet approval. And it had no finance concurrence. Without those things, Chandrababu Naidu waived off 1,300 crores of privilege fee per annum, which resulted in 5,000 crores lost to the exchequer, which is part of the charges on him, on which he is on bail currently. Just not this, but he also issued a GO contrary to the recommendations of the committee which was constituted by the Revenue Department. He went against the recommendations, issued a GO to 5 distilleries enhancing their capacities, which is against the recommendation of the committee, which is also part of the charges, one of the charges which is also on Chandrababu Naidu. So all these factors put together, Chandrababu Naidu is now currently on bail. So to nullify that case, Chandrababu Naidu is now trying to draw another line and showcase a good policy as a bad policy. See, in our regime, the policy is so transparent that the entirety of the shops are run by government. Every bottle has a QR code. Every bottle has a QR code. And every time a bottle is sold, the QR code is scanned. On a real-time, live, dynamic basis, the sale is recorded automatically online. So every time a bottle is sold, it is scanned, the QR code is scanned, automatically the record is live maintained on a dynamic live basis. So based on this QR code applicable sales, orders are placed to the distilleries on a transparent way, which should be appreciated. In fact, the transparency with which the liquor is being given. That is why you do not have such kind of few companies benefiting. It doesn't happen like that.
Sir, but you've talked about how there's been a very transparent mode of sales of liquor during the YSRCP regime. But there's been an independent report that says that yes, even though the liquor sales have come down, there's been a lot of liquor-related river and other diseases that had risen during YSRCP. This has been an independent study that had recently brought out this. How do you see this?
In fact, I have a record of data with me, where I'll spot out 2 things. See, the entirety of the 20 distilleries which are empaneled, which are supplying liquor, not a single distillery was empaneled by me. See, all the distilleries which were existence, empaneled by Chandrababu Naidu, the same distilleries are supplying liquor. That's number 1 point. Number 2 point is, what we had done in our regime is increased the Arogyasri from 1,000 and odd procedures to 3,300 procedures. And when we had increased these procedures to 3,300 procedures, these particular diseases, neuro diseases that you just spotted out, were added as free treatment. So they all were covered now in our regime. They're all now covered as free treatment in Arogyasri. And other than that, we had also gone ahead and on a mass level started screening people. Also thanks to COVID. Also which forced us to also take these kind of measures as mass screening. We have village clinics. We've established village clinics in place. We ran health camps in the name of Arogya Suraksha in every village. So there was a lot of screening done through Arogya Suraksha, through village clinics, through family doctor concepts. So because of all these aspects, a lot of screening which took place, naturally anybody with any kind of diseases pertaining to these aspects were immediately spotted, and because it was covered freely in Arogyasri, they were treated. So that actually should be appreciated rather than be criticized in a negative form.
So last and final question to you: do you think they're trying to, ramp up the heat against you? Do you think in the near future they are trying to get you arrested?
See, basically, justice prevails. Ultimately, God is watching. See, ultimately, it is he who is on bail on a liquor scam which has incriminating evidence against him on all the charges that have been spoken about. And in our case, there is no scam. Why would anybody give anything to anybody when nobody has benefited? And when everything is happening on such a transparent basis, where a QR code on every bottle is scanned before the sale of that bottle takes place, and automatically through this QR code, whatever is sold, the orders are replenished. So when that were to be the case, and the policy is so transparent in nature, versus the policy of Chandrababu Naidu, which in turn was private. In fact, Arvind Kejriwal was charged that he tried to do what Chandrababu Naidu has already done. Government shops being converted into private, what Arvind Kejriwal tried to do. And before that happened, he was charged. Whereas Chandrababu Naidu actually did it. And he actually ensured that all these shops went to private mafia, to his people. He carteled. In fact, you were also a native of this state. You also saw what happened when the shops allotment took place just recently, even now after he had come back to power, when he changed the policy and reverted back once again to 2014 to 19, the policy that he earlier implemented. No shop is given freely to or transparently to anybody. You have a big cartel, the MLAs get involved, the ministers get involved, only those people are selected, and those people are only given. You have police also coming into the picture. Nobody is permitted to participate into the lottery system. And whatever they get, after that they form the cartel. Then they have this illegal permit rooms, which are currently, even now as we speak, even today also they are running. Once Chandrababu Naidu has once again come into the picture. Today also you are seeing bell shops, illegal bell shops, right beside every street, in every village, right beside the temple, right beside the school. Everywhere you will find bell shops. And all of them are selling at above MRP rates, even now in this regime of Chandrababu, currently also as we speak. So all this took place then also. And also the orders, how were they placed? These private shops controlled by him place the orders, place the indent. So whomsoever he wants, whatever distilleries, what he chooses, the indent is generated on them through these private shops of his choice. And then he places the orders to those distilleries, which in turn resulted, as I said earlier, five distilleries commanding 69% of the volumes. That is a scam.
Alright, thank you so much, sir. That was YSRCP Chief Jagan Mohan Reddy there, who's clearly going on and saying that if this so-called liquor scam, it did happen during Chandrababu Naidu's regime during 2014-2019. More importantly, he says the YSRCP has maintained a transparent record during its regime during the last term. With video journalist Prasad at Tarepalli, Apurva Jayachandran, India Today.